Dear learners, I am Christina Georgy, your academic counselor. Yes, so we were discussing the various stress management techniques. So far we have discussed 3 techniques. Do you remember them? Which are the techniques that we discussed so far? Yes, correct. We discussed relaxation techniques. Then thereafter we moved on to the various asanas. Yes, before that, yes, meditation, correct. Is there only Ajita? What about the rest of you? Yes, correct, Advait, meditation and yoga. Correct. So far we discussed relaxation techniques, meditation and yoga. Now we are moving forward with mindfulness. Mindfulness. Before we move on to this concept as such, see, most of us are very much busy in our day-to-day life with the various activities in which we are engaged in. Am I right? So hence, we might not be able to pay proper attention to each and everything that we do, or very often we fail to find happiness in whatever little things where we should be finding happiness with. And we very often worry about the future. We stay affected by the past at times, and we never live in the present. We never enjoy the present condition, or we never try to find happiness in whatever we have at the moment. So mindfulness denotes awareness about one's thinking, the way one feels, physical sensations and one's surrounding in the present moment. So it involves becoming non-judgmental in one's awareness about one's thoughts and feelings. Therefore, mindfulness involves paying attention to things that generally we don't notice, as we are too occupied with our lives, thinking about future and past, and are seldom focusing on present. So most of us worry too much about the future. We live in the traumas of the past and we forget to live in the present. So mindfulness is a technique that makes us aware about the way we feel about our surroundings in the present moment. So mindfulness is often termed as a contrast to automatic pilot mode. What do you mean by the automatic pilot mode? The default way in which we believe, or the default way in which we behave in our day-to-day lives. What do you mean by the term contrast? Like opposite. Mindfulness is more like the opposite of the automatic pilot mode. The life, the default mode of the behavior that we do in our day-to-day lives. So what we do with this automatic pilot mode is that we do things without paying much thought or attention towards it. One of the most important activities that we often do mindlessly is eating. So how many of you pay proper attention to what you eat? May that be for your lunch or dinner. See, can you please respond by saying how many of you look at your phone while eating? That is a common practice. That could be because of your busy work schedule. It could be because of your interest in social media. It could be because of your relationships. How many of you use phone while eating? How many of you watch television? Yes, Ajita already said she watches TV. Yes, some of you might be watching television simultaneously while eating, right? So yes, some of you do watch TV. Or these days it could be anything else. Yeah, these days it's the time of OTTs, and OTT platforms and other gaming activities might attract your attention also. So remember, we eat so that our body gets the necessary nourishment, but most often we do these activities, or most often we eat on our autopilot mode, while we either watch television or browse our mobiles or engage in social networking. Friends, we are discussing page number 81 of block 2. Yes. So what can you do in order to practice mindfulness? The next time you eat, some of you at least do this, right? So the next time you eat, maybe you can try switching off the television or keeping aside the mobile and try to concentrate on your food. Try to appreciate your food and pay attention to its taste, color, sound, texture, etc. So yes. So we need to be aware that we are doing certain activities, may that be driving or household chores or even eating, which we may not do by not paying our complete attention to the task, and most often our attention and thought process may be somewhere else rather than on these activities. Most of us do multitasking, right? And even while we are doing some activity, our attention would be on some other issues, and there comes the role of stress. So this is how we work in our autopilot mode. Whereas mindfulness involves becoming aware and focusing your attention on these activities. May that be whatever activity that we are engaged in. So, Sabath and Sin, these are two researchers who have put forward the characteristics of mindfulness in the year 1990. So they have mentioned 7 characteristics of mindfulness, namely being non-judgmental, 2. cultivating patience, 3. being open-minded, 4. having trust, 5. non-striving, 6. acceptance, and 7. letting go. In fact, it is these two people, Sabath Sin, who are also responsible for starting a program on mindfulness. Remember the name of this program? Mindfulness Based Stress Reduction. And this was initiated at the University of Massachusetts Medical School in the year 1997. It is important to remember that when mindfulness is practiced, one involves in observing one's experiences, including thoughts, feelings, and psychological sensations. Besides observation, this also involves description of what is being observed, but this is to be done non-judgmentally. Keep that in mind. Mindfulness also requires complete participation. Thus, complete attention and focus needs to be provided. And it is very common for us to drift our attention while practicing mindfulness. That happens. In that case, you need to gently bring back the focus and attention on observing the experience. That is, it is possible that your attention and focus may drift while practicing mindfulness, but you need to try to gently bring back the focus and attention on observing the experience. So, do you think there are advantages of practicing mindfulness? There are certain advantages. It can have a positive impact on individual's body and mind. So, let's have a look at 5 major advantages. Firstly, it helps in dealing with certain illnesses by strengthening your immune system. Second one, it helps to deal with stress and promote positive mental health. Even memory, attention, problem solving, and decision making can improve with the help of mindfulness. Let's consider that as the third point. Now comes the fourth point, that is, it helps to enhance one's own self-esteem, and it can play a role in building and maintaining positive relationships as well. So remember that as of the fifth point. It would be easy if you could number and study. That is from the examination point of view. I have seen them asking questions based on mindfulness and biofeedback. So it would be easier for you to keep track of things by numbering and study. So it depends on the person. The strategy that I'll be following might not be suitable for Rinsa, and the strategy that Rinsa follows would not be suitable for Fatima. So it all depends on the person. So there are various strategies. Try and see which one suits you better. So for this particular course, it would be helpful if you could keep notes of the main headings, the main points, and it would be great if you could number and study so that it will be easy for you to remember. Remember, mindfulness denotes awareness about one's thinking, the way one feels, physical sensations, and one's surrounding in the present moment. We are mostly working in the autopilot mode, whereas mindfulness involves becoming aware and focusing your attention on the activities that we do. It was Kabat and Sin in the year 1990 who put forth the various characteristics of mindfulness. They started a program at the University of Massachusetts in the year 1997 named Mindfulness Based Stress Reduction. And remember all the advantages of this technique as well. Now shall we proceed to biofeedback?